Hey guys, and welcome to the Infinity Podcast. Today we've got a very special guest. We've got Laura with us, who's going to talk us through her journey so far with us, tell us a little bit more about what has been going on that led her to joining Infinity, and a little bit about the impact that it's had on her so far. So, welcome to the podcast, Laura. Thank you for being here. Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what's going on?
Yep, so I'm Laura. I'm 42. I'm from Norton. Lived in Norton all my life. I'm a mum. I've got two sons, a 16-year-old and a 10-year-old. I work as a teaching assistant, so my job's very, very challenging, but I love it. And that's it, really.
Cool. So what was it that first led you to make a decision on working on your health and fitness?
So I've got fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. I've also got an underactive thyroid, and I've got a problem with my back. Most recently, summer 24, I've noticed that my body was changing a lot, and the things that I'd done previously weren't working anymore.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I was on holiday and I was feeling a bit rubbish, and I was on Instagram and your adverts and things kept coming up, and I was like, oh, maybe it's time for a change. When I got home, I rang and booked the call in, and then that was it. It started coming.
Cool. So for the people who don't know, tell us a little bit about what fibromyalgia is and chronic fatigue, because it's very, it is very, it comes under a lot of things, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So I started with it about 8 years ago. Initially, nobody knew what it was. So I went from being quite healthy, active with my boys and things like that, to not being able to walk across the road. I used to shake. People thought I had Parkinson's. That's what they tested me for at first. And it went on for about a year. I was exhausted. If I walked across the road, you had to come in, sit down, lay down, have a rest. I'd shake all the time, constant pain, every part of my body. The only way I explain it to people is if you had a bruise and you knew it was there, that's how my body feels all the time. So even if, say if you prodded me in my arm now, it'd feel like your finger was there for the rest of the day. It just hurts, you're just in pain all the time. That mixed with chronic fatigue, you literally just feel like you're walking through sand all the time. You're just treading, and that's you on a daily basis. That's like my norm now.
And from going and, like you said, you were active with your kids, how did that impact you?
Massively. I couldn't even, my oldest son who's 16 now, at the time, he used to be like, Mama, in the garden, come in the garden, play football and things, and I used to go and I used to be thinking, God, I just want to sit down, I can't do this. And I used to try and go out for a bit, but it got to the point where it was my husband who was having to do it all the time, and that's not the type of person I am, and it's definitely not the type of mama I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So it really impacted us.
And when you were first, you said that no one knew anything about it or what it was, how did that feel?
It felt like I was going mad. It felt like I was making it up. I'd been sent to different consultants. They'd changed my thyroid medication just to see if that'd work. Every test that they do, nothing comes back because you can't trace it through your blood or anything like that. So you start doubting yourself. I had MRI scans, brain scans, everything. And I was thinking, what's going on? Am I just losing the plot here? And it's soul destroying, really, especially when you go from being really active to nothing. Yeah. Nothing at all.
Yeah. When you were speaking to people, the consultants and stuff, you mentioned that it felt like you were losing your mind. Yeah. Did it seem like people were being dismissive with it? What was that experience like? And the reason I say that is because I've worked with a few people who've dealt with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia before. And I'm just trying to get an understanding about, obviously from your side of things, what I see, what I understand, and what I've gained from research, it's totally different when you're sat and you're dealing with it. So, what was the experience like with the consultants, the doctors and stuff?
So, luckily, I had a good doctor who, I think he was just as bewildered as me. He was pushing for all these different things, but no one could give me an answer, no one. And in the end, it took over a year, and then I got referred to neurology, I think it was, and I went in, and straight away he was like, right, this is what's happening with you. I was like, but then even when he said that, because it's not a physical thing that you can say, all right, this is what's the matter, take this, go away, and you'll be totally fine. It was it was a big shock, and his words to me were basically, you'll either go out here and you'll keep pushing, and you'll find a way to deal with your pain and things like that, or you'll come back in a wheelchair. And I was like, that's not happening. I'm quite glad he said that to me. It was horrible at the time. It was absolutely horrible. I had a little 2-year-old at the time out in the pushchair waiting. I think he might have been younger. And I was like, oh my God, like a wheelchair, like what on earth? But from that point on, I was like, nah, this.
So that basically lit the fire.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think like from that perspective as well, people do go those one or two ways, especially when they're dealing with something as bad as chronic fatigue. Like it can be really debilitating, where it affects everything that you do. Like some people call it back pain, some people call it sciatica, other people will get it and it's like it's just the fatigue side of things, but it affects people in totally different ways. And I mean, from my point of view, when I've been doing rehabilitation, when I work with people around this, I still remember one lady who came in and we did a session and we literally did the evaluation that you go through. So anyone that comes in, we do an evaluation to figure out exactly where their starting point is at. And this lady came in, she did it, and then she messaged me 2 days later. She'd missed the session, so she missed the first session, and she said, oh, I can't come back because I was in absolute agony after doing it. And you've got to be very, very careful in like communicating that with people. And that was a turning point for me, because I'd already worked with someone prior to this who dealt with fibromyalgia or been going through it, and they were fine. Yeah. And it was so surreal, because you just think, oh well, I understand it now, and then you work with the next person and it's something new.
It's completely different.
And that's why a lot of the time now when I'm coaching someone, even the words that was it a doctor or a consultant? A consultant. So that even the words that the consultant used, like I'll be very careful in how I approach that with someone. So you might have seen like sometimes in the gym, like I'll sort of tease or wind people up, because I want to get the best out of them because of their personality. Yeah. They've got that fiery personality, they'll take that on board. So when someone said to you, they gave you the two options, you were like, that was the fire. For some other people, it might be like, they've been dealing with that for a lot, that's it, I'm done, I walk out of there, and they lean on that. But it's great to know that you've been able to come to that point. And you mentioned that you were on holiday when you'd seen the ad, and then you decided to jump on the call. And before we jumped on this, you said that you'd already made the decision straight away. Yeah. Like, what changes have you noticed since starting? How long has it been now?
So the end of August, like the last week in August.
Last week in August to now. So what are we on that? Like September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So seven months. Knocking on 7 months. Oh, it'll be 7 months the end of next month. 6 months. What have you noticed?
So I'm not going to say the pain stopped and everything like that, because it hasn't, because I'm in pain all the time. But I'm noticing a change in my strength, definitely. One of the key things is we'll get new carpets everywhere, and usually I'd have to wait for someone to help me move stuff. I was like, forget that, I can do this by myself. Moved all this furniture, I was like, look at me, I've done this. Just generally, day-to-day tasks I can do, you know what I mean? I'm quite strong-willed, I'm stubborn, and I like to be independent. And this, I know for a fact this is going to make sure that I can do that for as long as possible. I won't lie, initially I was like, right, I need to get this weight off, I need to do this. But once I'd started coming to the gym, you realise, hold on, that's not just everything. Yeah, I still want that, but the strength part, and you explained to me about like my bone, is it density, bone structure and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm thinking, hold on, like this, I need to keep doing this to be the mum and the person who I want to be, to keep going. As well, I didn't realise how much of an impact it would have on me mentally. Some days I come in, I'm like, I like literally crawl in the door. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so tired. Don't think I'm going to do much, but I'm coming, I'm turning up. And I go out laughing, because all the girls are just, they're a good group, and I know for a fact every time I come in there I'll laugh at something. I am a giggler, but I will laugh at something, like generally laugh. So for me, that impact's been the most noticeable, like the impact on my mental health.
That's great to hear, and I think it's one of the biggest things that most people miss when it comes to joining something like a fitness program or something like that, is like it's all about the weight loss. And if they're not losing the weight, they get frustrated with it. And we talked about this as well, like the frustrations that come with not seeing progress all the time. And one of the things that I've seen is that there will be people who are very adherent, who make the change, come to the gym, and they spontaneously change the diet without any outside influence. But the main thing that we try and focus on is making sure that that person gets up to speed and make sure that they can fit that into their life before we start introducing brand new things and going, oh, there's a diet plan, follow that. Like, we can figure out all that stuff along the way, because like we know that so many people, and you've probably got friends like this, so many people will lose weight, but then put it all back on.
Yeah.
Because they follow a method, they never understand the principle and how that fits around their life to be able to make it stick, to make those lifelong choices. And one of the most powerful things that I've heard you mention a couple of times now is your kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, your mental health. It's like, you've got a 2-year-old, you're being told that it's going to go one of two ways when you've been given that by the consultant. And it was like, no, I'm actually going to make this work. And a lot of people, I mean, I just jumping back to something that I'd seen on social media when I was becoming a dad myself. It's like this guy walking up a set of stairs and he had his kid on his back and he had another kid walking in his hand, and he was like, a lot of people will say that they don't have time to make changes that are positive on their life, and they blame time needing to be spent with kids. But if you reframe that and you say, like, I'm doing this because I want to spend better quality time with my kids, you'll always do it. You'll always find the time to prioritize that, because it's something that's really important. And like, I'm 40 this year. I don't want to be the parent that can't get down on the floor. I've seen it already. Like, I've seen some of the parents that are in the in like friend groups that can't bend down, or they're struggling, or they're stiff, or they sit there and be a spectator. And I think that's one of the amazing things about like being able to have that, not the physical shift. I mean, the strength will always come. If someone comes in, they're accountable, they apply themselves, they will always see those things. The weight loss will always come. The mental shift that you're able to have and the change in your lifestyle is unbelievable. Like, you can't even put that into context. Like, you can't give a tangible number on that. What it means to each person is totally different. Before you got started then, what were your concerns? Because surely, like, even though you've made that decision to start, there might have been some concerns or challenges and worries that you had. What were those?
I was dead nervous. I was like, what am I doing? Like, can I do this? Like, what am I signing up for? Because I've never done anything like it before. I've been to commercial gyms in the past. I've always done some type of fitness at home, just like little tiny things. So there was the fear of, what am I letting myself in for here? Am I going to be able to do it? And then I was thinking, I hope I fit in all right. I hope I don't feel uncomfortable, because there's nothing worse than going somewhere and feeling uncomfortable. And then it was like fitting it in as well. Like, I've said about 2 sons, my youngest son's autistic. Although he's 10, it's obviously, his mental age is a lot younger. And that is a constant thing. Like, I've said about him not sleeping and things. I'm up, like, he gets about 4 hours sleeping out. I'm up all the time. I work full time. I have to keep busy all the time with them. I have to keep up with him. Then I was like, how am I going to fit this in? And what I realised is I never actually do anything for just me. It's always, I need to go here to do this for the kids. I need to go here to do that for something else. Never, right, I'm doing this for myself. So that was a big step.
I mean, I say to the team all the time, we have the opportunity to be the best part of that person's day. Like, obviously, take that with a pinch of salt, because, like, obviously the kids mean the world to you. Like, work and everything else, you're going on holiday. But when you go into a routine that you're going to work and then you're coming home, you're looking after the kids, and like, it can weigh you down. And obviously, for the people who aren't aware, fibromyalgia adds an extra element of complication. Like, you're trying to show up every single day as mum, as teacher, as friend, as partner, and all of that stuff can weigh you down. And then when you allocate that 1 hour of time where you say, right, this is it, I'm doing something for me. Like, for someone at home who's watching this, that could be simply walking around the barrage. Like, I see people every day, I say morning to them, and that might be their physical exercise. But when you're getting into an environment like that with other ladies who make you smile, make you laugh, you just have a bit of a crack, you lift a little bit of weight, and you feel better as a result. Like, you leave feeling so much better and so much more energized. Like, people think that you need to be like finishing the workout in a pool of sweat. It's not the case. Like, we've found that, like, so many people will come in, and the sessions that they just come in and did a little bit, they feel great from. Every now and again you'll get a PB, but that's going to be what, 5% of the time. Like, 50% of your workouts will be better than average. The other 50% is probably going to be like below or whatever. Do you know what I mean? If you're able to consistently show up and get good workouts in, and you feel good as a result, you're probably more likely to show up for the better workouts. Whereas if we try and push you and you're doing a HIIT workout every day, you might be burning out.
My body just crushed them.
You just be, and that's where, like, we often say that, like, between ourselves, we probably don't say this as much as we should. Your best on the day is good enough. It's like, so when you come in, it's like, you walk in through the door, it's like, hi Laura, how are you doing? You'll be like, yeah, I'm all right. And you can hear in your tone of voice.
Right. People say to me all the time, with fibromyalgia, anyone who's got it, people will say to you, hey, you look all right, you don't look in pain. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Walk around going, ow, 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 every, like, day?
What do you think I'm going to do? Walk in on fire?
Do you want me to just walk in and, like, moan to you all the time? I'm not going to get through life like that. My thing for everything, like I've already said, I giggle, but I laugh. I laugh through, like, that's how I get through everything. If something goes wrong, I laugh. Because the alternative is to sit and cry, and that's not going to get me anywhere, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
And I could be sat at home. When you say, like, your best is your best on the day, for me, that's turning up.
Yeah.
So I've committed myself to 3 times a week, 3 hours a week, I'm coming, and that's it. And sometimes I'll come and I think, I don't even think I can do this today. But that's been my achievement. I've turned up, and I have done it. I have managed to do it. Maybe it's not to the ability that I want to, but I've done it.
Yeah.
And that's my success there. You talk about, like, the new thing at the gym, is it the stick and twist? Yeah. I was thinking about this because, like, sometimes I've twisted before I've even got the door, because that is literally me turning up. And yeah, I might not be lifting heavier weights than I did on the day before or whatever, but for how I'm feeling that day, I've definitely twisted because I've come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know at home, stick or twist is essentially how we will ask someone how they're feeling on the day, rather than just because, like, up here we do that, don't we? How you feeling? You go into work and someone goes, how are you? And you go, yeah, all right. Yeah, and it's the same answer every single day, even though some days you can feel low on energy, you're drained, your energy is all over the place. So what we do is we ask, do you want to stick or do you want to twist today? So if you want to stick, it means that you just want to get through the workout, get moving and feel a little bit better. If you want to twist, it means that you want to be pushed a little bit more. And it gives us as coaches a deeper understanding about where you're at on that day. And that's what I was saying to Laura about, like, your best on the day is good enough. If you turn up and you do 2 out of 3 sessions and 2 of those sessions are stick and then the 1 session is a twist, you can still make progress with that. Now, over time, as you get more confident with your workouts, you can push that a little bit more. But the main thing here is to understand how the absolutely wiped out. Like, she was laid on the floor after the session. She couldn't do, I think she'd done 60% of the weight that she'd done previously. It was unbelievable, and I was like, what's up with you? Yeah. And she felt bad in herself because she didn't understand it. And then after doing that, I'd learned to understand it a little bit more. And then that sort of spilled on people who were dealing with fibromyalgia, because that's another complication. A lot of people don't even know that they have it. And like you said, how long was it from start to diagnosis?
Over a year, well over a year.
So if you're dealing with that type of chronic pain for a year, like, that impacts your physical ability day to day, impacts your ability to show up for your family, impacts work.
I had to leave my job at the time. I couldn't work at the beginning.
Yeah.
So that was a big...
It's, I mean, it's unbelievable because not everyone knows, so not everyone can support it in that way. But I think the awareness is so important when it comes across in that way. And like you said, like, loads of people say to you, oh, you don't look like you're in pain. But that's often what I'll see. Like, so if someone's doing exercise in the gym, my first question is, how does it feel? Yeah. It's like, because I'm not trying to second guess. I'm not trying to interpret what you should be feeling. Because sometimes someone will say, oh, where should I feel it? It's like, tell me a little bit more about what you're experiencing, and then I can marry it up to what I'm seeing. So if I see twitches in the cheeks, sometimes I can see people gritting the teeth, or they're uncomfortable, they're dropping the head back because it's pulling in the back. I try and then engage by interpreting that and communicating it back to the person, because the more you understand about your body and how it works, the better placed you are to understand whether you're in pain or whether it's discomfort. And when we're uncomfortable, it means that we're challenging our body in a good way. When we're in pain, it means that we need to change something. But some people will say, no pain, no gain. And I don't subscribe to that notion. I know there is a very slight carryover to that, where in the fitness industry, it's kind of like you need to push through. And that's something that if I was coaching you, Laura, I would take into account, because obviously listening to your personality and the way that you talk about it is like, I need to push through this. Yeah. Some days you'll feel great as a result, but some days you might do that and then you think, oh my God, I'm absolutely obliterated. Yeah. But it's, It's really good to hear those things. Since you've joined then, what has been the best bit of the programme for you?
It's the people, you know, it is. I do have my set classes, which I like, my set sessions what I come to. But everyone, even if I mix it up a bit and go with something different, every single person who I've met is just so down to earth. They're all there for like pretty much the same thing. You can have a laugh. The coaches, I feel comfortable with all three of you. I could say anything to you. Yeah, I just enjoy it. That's what it is. I enjoy it. Like I've just finished my trial, let's say trial period, and I was like, do you know what? I can't walk away from that.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy it. It's doing something for me, whether it's what I want. I don't know exactly what that is to pinpoint it yet, but I enjoy it because I've been turning up, haven't I? I've been turning up every week and pushing myself. So that's the standout thing, the people, definitely.
Great, it's great to hear. And how do your family feel about it? Like, are they supportive with you?
Yeah, definitely. At first, like, especially my parents are like, do you think it's going to be too much for you and things like that, because they've seen me at rock bottom basically. I was like, well, I'm just going to try, I'm just going to do it. And at first, they're obviously, my parents are both in the 70s, and like, oh, you're doing like weights and stuff. Oh, you'll bulk up and all this. Like, it's like not like that. Like it's different, and it'll help me. And I think they've seen the change in me as well. They say I'm a lot happier in myself, which is good because I don't want to come across miserable. So they have noticed a difference. And my husband, he's really encouraging. My eldest son, he's 16, he's like, go on, Mum, like, you can do it. Me and him, like, I'm saying, I said, you have to get some weights at home, Lewis, start doing stuff. So yeah, they're all on board.
But it is that as well, like that's one of the biggest things that I talk about as a parent now, is like, I don't want my daughter to grow up in the way that so many other ladies have gone through. You go to school and then there's a stigmatization around the way that you look, particularly around your weight. And people might not outwardly say it at first. I mean, some kids will. Kids can be awful at times. Like, obviously, working in that space, you'll know way more about it than me. But it can have a negative impact on them, and then it leans into eating disorders, all that sort of stuff. And I mean, I can't stop her from dealing with that. Yeah. You can't stop your kids from dealing with that. Generally, boys are more active anyway. Yeah. They generally stay more active in their later years. But what I'll often find is that girls will, even if they're physically active during school, they're sporting, they will get to a period where after school it just doesn't carry on. Girls that go to college and take part in sport in comparison to what lads would do. And I'm very aware of that now. So when obviously you've seen Nora in the space, like we bring Nora in and she comes in there and she enjoys it and stuff. But I can see her actively watching the girls now. So I always try and capture that as a video in watching like what people are doing. And she's just observing that. And like when we've got like the little plates and things, and she'll pick them up and she's throwing them now and stuff. And it's good to see, because although it's just play for her, if it becomes the norm, then it's not unusual later on. There might come a time where she says, I don't want to go to the gym. I would never force her to do that. I just want him to play. Like, do your boys play sports?
So my youngest not, but he's constantly on the go, like constant, never stops.
Does he iPad and stuff like that?
He likes the iPad. He's constant movement, so he needs sensory feedback all the time. So we've got trampolines. My house is like a little gym. We've got trampolines, like spinning chairs, big gym balls. He just doesn't sit still, ever. Not even when he's eating, he can't sit still. My eldest, he's a gymnast and he loves football.
Which one does he go to?
Is Acklam. Unfortunately, he's got bad knees at the minute, so he's gone from competing to coaching because he didn't want to leave the sport entirely. So, been a bit frustrating for him, but that's been our life since he was 4 as well. Yeah. He started when he was 4.
Yeah, I think, like, personally for me, like, if someone's getting into a sport, like, my nephew's autistic as well, but he does jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And it's, like, such a great, like, he's come so much out of his shell through doing that. And that's why I asked about the iPad and stuff, because, like, my nephew's hand-eye coordination, he got one of them Oculus things, and, like, he's doing that, and I mean, that keeps him active. Yeah. You've got a duck under him when he's in the front room, though. His arms are swinging everywhere. It's still good because he's still stood up, he's moving around. Yeah. Whereas when it's on the iPad, he'll sit down for extended periods. But like jiu-jitsu and gymnastics are probably some of the things that I wish I'd have been exposed to at an early age. I don't have any regrets about it because obviously my parents didn't know any better. Yeah. But I think it's one of the major things that so many parents will be like, I've got to do all these activities with my kids, but one of the biggest influences is you yourself. Yeah. Like what you do yourself influences what they do. I've had so many conversations with ladies who tried the monkey bars since coming to the gym. As daft as that sounds, like most of us grew up known gyms known like parks like that.
Yeah, that's one of my standout things at the gym, and it's like people think it's daft, but it was literally being able to hang with my own body weight from a bar, because I couldn't even do that when I was a kid, ever. I couldn't do the monkey bars, so I might have to go find a park and see if I can do it.
Do you know what I always wanted to do, and I don't think I could ever do it as a kid, is you know when they hang from the bar but then you kick your legs through?
Yeah.
Right, in gymnastics they call it skin the cat. So you basically hang from the bar and you kick your legs through your arms. I don't know if I've got a video of me doing it from a long time ago, but if I have, I'll put it on this. And I kick your legs through, and then that's like where we do the dislocates. So we do this exercise with a dowel where you bring it over the back of your body, and everybody says to me when we do it, that looks weird, as it looks like you're dislocating your shoulders. They're called dislocates as well. I always wanted to be able to do that, and when I actually got to the point of being able to do it, I was like, I'm so chuffed that I've got the strength to hold on and the confidence to do it. And it just had a massive mental boost for me. Again, like we're talking about physical stuff, but it sort of transpires into other areas of your life as well, and like you show up totally differently. What were your main expectations then when you signed up? Like you mentioned that you were nervous about it. Like what were you sort of expecting from it?
Do you know what? I didn't have a clue, you know. Like I just reached out basically. I was like, right, I think it's going to be something different. It sounded like it was going to be something different. I knew it was going to be like more personal training type rather than just being threw out there. So I knew I was going to be getting advice. But that's how I came into it. I didn't have any expectations because I haven't done it before. Do you know what I mean? So I couldn't compare it to anything. So that was probably part of being nervous, a bit of the unknown. Yeah. But obviously you do all your things now, so people can see that, the videos and stuff like that. So I do scroll quite a lot. But that was expectation. I was just waiting for the advice, I think. That was the expectation. Get some advice, someone who knows what I should be doing. That's all I expected, that's what I wanted.
So, I mean, for the people listening then or watching, how would that compare to, like you mentioned you've been to gyms before, like what was the difference there? What's a major thing for you?
So you literally, going into the gym before, they'd have just said, oh, these are the machines, off you go. Especially with my numerous conditions that are going on. That's not good for me. Because if something hurt, I'd stop. I'd be like, oh, I can't go back. I can't do that again. It's going to make me feel even worse. I can't do it. Whereas when I come to you, I can try something. I can go, oh, hold on, that doesn't feel right. Is there an alternative? Can I do something else? And you think about it, right, this is what you do. So I can still do something without the fear of thinking, oh, it's going to wipe me out this, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'll just leave that for now. I'll never go on that again because it hurt that one time. Different.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big misconceptions that so many people have is like, oh, I don't do deadlifts because my back hurts. Yeah. Whereas like what I would rather do is I'd rather understand the movement. Like we can adapt the movement down to its basic level, which is like we called it a deadlift, a hip hinge. So anytime we're looking at exercise, we think about it in terms of movement as opposed to an exercise. And this allows us to have that adaptability for every single person that comes into the program. Someone can do a press up. I'm not going to get them to do a press up on the floor. Like obviously you're doing the banded slingshot press ups at the moment. So we have like a program that allows for every single person at different stages to still be able to work on those movements, to see the improvements, to get stronger and to feel better as a result of doing it, while obviously not getting further injured. But if injury was to occur, or you're dealing with a flare-up, we can adapt the session to suit that. So it's not shying away from those things. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I probably made a mistake as a PT when I first started. It's like people would tell me that they've got frozen shoulder. So I avoided doing any overhead pressing. But then I avoided doing any overhead pressing, so it never got tested. So we strengthened muscles in a different way, and then the shoulders would get tight there, and we weren't doing any mobility around it. When I actually realised what was happening there, I started to figure it out, and I was like, right, what if we do this instead? And we do a couple of exercises like face pulls, banded pull aparts, and things like that. And then people will be like, do you know what, my shoulder's freed up? And I was like, wow. But it seems obvious now. Like obviously if I look at someone, I can make that assessment and I can adjust that. But because of that communication, because of like, obviously I will never experience what you're feeling when it comes to fibromyalgia, even if I was to get it myself. Like I will never understand that. You will only be the one to understand your body. So the biggest part of this when it comes to personal training is communication. And that's one of the biggest things that people will never get when they go to a commercial gym.
No.
Yeah, you might enjoy the classes. Yeah, if you're a fit and healthy person and you want to go there and you want to spend a lot of time figuring it out yourself, that's fine. But when you come into an environment like this, it's like, oh, Warren, my back hurts today.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I can do instead of deadlifts? Yeah. Let's have a look at this. But while we're at it, let's have a look at the movement and see if we can mobilize your hips a little bit more to free up your back. You walk out and you're like, oh, I feel a little bit better. You might be aching the next day afterwards, but over time it'll free it up, and then you get rid of that a lot faster and you become more resilient as a result. So how do you feel now then compared to when you first joined?
I feel better. I do feel better. Like I said before, mentally, definitely, because I know I'm doing something. What's the alternative? Being sat home miserable, thinking, I'm not happy with this. I'm actually committed and I'm coming every week. I'm turning up, I'm meeting good people, like having a laugh and getting fit at the same time. That's the biggest difference, and my strength I can feel a lot of difference in as well.
Cool. And you mentioned hanging from the bar.
Yeah.
Has that been your highlight so far then?
It has. It was a session with Bradley, I think. And do you know what? I'd probably only been there a couple of seconds or something. But I was like, Bradley, look, Bradley, I'm doing it. And he was like, oh yeah. I was like, that's good. Yeah, it's good. And he was laughing at me, being so excited. But it's just so, like, I couldn't do it at first. I used to have to like teeter on the end of the thing, put my feet on the end.
How long have you done it for so far?
Do you know what? Like, they're laughing at me, but I did 20 seconds the other day, which is massive for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
it's a good one.
The reason that we do that is related to grip strength. So, like, a lot of research says that people who have weak grip, like, have like, it's negatively correlated with all-cause mortality. So, like, you're at risk of greater things happening, like, in all areas of your life. Like, I won't go into all of that, but cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and all that, as a result of like strength in general. Now, grip strength is the main way that we can test this. And we do have a hand grip dynamometer to test people's grip strength, but I haven't done it yet. Specifically, I wanted to see, when we introduced this part of the program, I wanted to see where everyone lied with it, because we've done the band assisted chin-ups and things like that, but it's been really interesting to see how many people really struggle with the grip. Yeah. And people will tell me all the time, they're like, oh, it's not my strength, it's my grip.
Slide off the bar.
Feels like there's butter on it, doesn't it?
I could be there for longer, I know I could, but...
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of time to build up to that. But like you said, like 20 seconds at the minute is like
That's
massive.
Like massive for me.
It's massive. And then the next time you do it, it might be 23, 25 seconds. But it's the same as doing an extra rep or adding an extra kilo onto the bar. Like, you're progressively getting stronger. And when you do it sufficiently enough for a number of times, like, then we can move on to the next step, which is the scapular pull-ups. If you've seen anyone doing that, where it's just like arms straight and you're pulling your shoulders down. Once we move from there, we can do even better movements like the band-assisted chin-ups, but with lighter bands, and then start doing the negatives. Before you know it, you might even be doing chin-ups. Have you done it with your kids at the park yet?
No, not yet. I will though.
I think you're
with a gymnast, I don't know if he's going to be very impressed, is he? Swinging off bars.
I don't know, like he might be impressed. But I suppose if you've never been in that position where you don't know what it feels like not to be able to do it is a massive thing. I think that's one of the biggest things that most people can't see either. It's like, if I've not lost weight, I've not made progress. Well, actually, you did it with what dumbbells were you using the other day when you were training with Naomi?
12.5.
So going up in weight with them, and I mean 12.5 kilo dumbbells.
I can feel it.
A lot of people will see those weights and they'll be like, I can't do that.
I can't do that.
Even before they've tried, even before they've picked them up. I see it all the time. Like, I got one of the ladies to do it the other day, Eileen, and she was like, I can't do that. She did 6 reps on it. I mean, I supported her wrist while she was doing it, but like, she did 6 reps, and it's a massive impact. And I joke all the time. I've joked a couple of times on these podcasts with how many weights we bought over the years and how much we have to keep on adding to it. So you'll see, like, some of the dumbbells, we have like 1 or 2 pairs, whereas now we need to get another 2 pairs, and then some of the other dumbbells we need to get extra sets. So I'd love to be in a position where at the end of this year we need a full set on every single rack. And I think
you probably will for some of them. I think that's another thing about the gym as well. Like, when you first come in, you're like, yeah, I'll never be able, you look at some of the girls, you're like, I'll never be able to do that, like, a thingy. But I think your mentality shifts as well. The more you come, you stop comparing yourself to what other people do, and you focus on yourself, and you know that you're not getting judged off anyone because everyone's been in the same boat as you. And the girls are more encouraging rather than judging. Definitely, there's no judge. So I think that's another big point about the gym.
I mean, just on that then, what advice would you have to someone who's looking to come to the gym? Because there'll be so many people who watching or listening to this who might be in the same position where they've been struggling, like maybe not with fibromyalgia, but they've been struggling with, like, I need to make a change with my health and fitness. They've been sat on the fence, been scrolling, looking at a multitude of different things. They've tried a number of things. What recommendations would you have to them to get started?
I just say get in touch. Like, get in touch, speak to the coaches. These are all really approachable. That was one of the key things for me. I found it really easy to speak to you all straight away. Just make that first step. People, I know, because I've done it at home as well, thinking, oh yeah, she can't be as bad as me. She won't feel as bad as I feel. She won't be like that. But trust me, I have. Just take the first step. What's your alternative? You're in pain anyway. You're at home. You're going to be feeling miserable. You're going to keep going down that path and nothing's going to change. Make the first step. Give it a go. It might not be for you, but you've tried. Go for it. Just take that first step.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, like, it either becomes like, oh, I'll do it later.
Yeah.
I'll put it off. And I mean, look at how long it was put off for you with dealing with what you went through, and that was nothing to do with you. Like, if for example someone said to you, pay me $5,000 and we'll fix your fibromyalgia, would you have done it?
Yeah, I would.
Like. And I think just to compare that, like, with health and fitness, often when people come to us, they've been dealing with this challenge for a long time. They've been suffering in silence, not telling, like, similar to yourself, like, you're getting on with your day. People don't recognise the challenges that you're facing. You're not feeling happy about yourself, your energy's not in the right place, you've got aches and pains, and you're just not showing up in the way that you would like to show up. For family, for work, for around friends, and all of the time you're slipping backwards and you're convincing yourself that one day it'll get better, but it never does. So you're right in taking that first step. And I mean, like, just from my point of view, even if that's not us, reach out to someone else. There's a many different avenues that you can take when it comes to your health and fitness, and you've got to find what's right for you. I'm happy to chat with anyone when it comes to health and fitness, because it helps me to become a better personal trainer as well, and to communicate more effectively with the people that we work with. So I think we'll end it there. I really appreciate you coming down. I think it was a fantastic chat. I think some of the insights there are so profound, like just mentioning the mental aspect of it. I was talking to the coaches just recently about this, and how I've seen a massive shift since, dare I say it, COVID times, 2020, a massive shift in it's not as much about the physical side as it is about the mental health side of things. And every time I get a form filled in, I'd say for every 5 forms that I get filled in now, I'd say at least 2 of them have got some aspect of mental health on them. So I appreciate you coming down. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for watching and listening wherever you are. If you are interested in finding out a little bit more about what we do at Infinity, we work with ladies who are 40 plus in the Stockton area. Just reach out to us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, or drop us an email and we can talk to you about how we can help you to improve your fitness in the future as well. I'll see you in the next one.